today, and he's going to be tag teaming with me because we just love doing tours together. Fred's going to provide the last one, I'll provide the history and all that sort of thing. Now, just some housekeeping before we get going. You might be able to point out our 3 emergency exits. Obviously, there's that special black bar over on the left-hand side there. We've got the big obvious emergency exit over the top of us, which takes 2 people to lift out, and then we'll be fine. And you can probably point out the 3rd, which is that door just on your right-hand side there. Now, I do have a first aid kit and fire extinguisher in the back as well, both of which me and Fred are trained to use. And I'm a qualified lifeguard, so if we go swimming anytime soon, then I'll be able to help you out there. We also do insist that we wear seatbelts. It is Albert's law to wear a seatbelt. If you're over 16, I'm not going to force you to do that, so you don't absolutely have to. But if the RCMP catches you, you will be getting a nice $1,000 fine. So, do as you will. However, if we are under 16 and on the tour, I must insist that you wear a seatbelt, as I am basically your dad on this one. But without further ado, let's get cracking. Do let me know if I'm too loud, because I have a natural tendency to be quite a loud person. So you can just shout to me, I'll think, shut up. Yeah, so I'm on a 90-minute visual tasting experience.
So, the town of Banff actually invited him out to come play a concert at the Banff Hot Springs Hotel. And so they found this landing strip here. It used to be an old bison paddock. And actually, so it was a landing strip all the way up into the 1990s. And then they turned it into out here, park down in the car park and have your lunch. Unfortunately, you cannot order a Domino's pizza to here, as it is too far away. You're probably wondering, Fred, why is that turquoisey glow in the water? And I'll tell you how it is. So before they dammed Two Jack, it used to be a river, and it used to flow from facing the wrong way. It used to flow from Lake Minnewanka all the way down into Two Jack River. But when they dammed it, it actually so turned into a nice little lake. But all of that rock flour from the glaciers in Lake Minnewanka has flowed down into Two Jack, and when they dammed it, it's got stuck in here. And so when the reflection of the sun comes and hits the rock flour in the water, it bounces back all of those lovely blues and greens in the water, and all the reds and yellows and that, they all sink to the bottom, but all the blues and greens come to the top. Now you're probably wondering, Fred, how did Two Jack get its name? So I'll tell you the story. So back in the day, when this Two Jack didn't have a name, everyone wanted to name their lakes after themselves. So they got to Two Jack and went, alright, how do we name this one? And everyone wanted to name, because it was the most pretty one, everyone wanted to have their name as this one. So they decided to have a big poker game. And this poker game went for 3 days and 3 nights. And on the fourth day, it got to a point where these 2 guys, they were having a... Oh yeah, look at that green glow out coming out of the lake. And as we come by, guys, you'll be able to see where they've dammed the Two Jack from Lake Minnewanka as well. It's a real quick little window, so like this and like...
Yeah, we should see it, definitely, but you might be kind of thinking that lake, it looks so enticing to get a swim or whatever. As I said, absolutely freezing, wouldn't recommend it. However, any of you guys are on TikTok or anything and you've seen candle ice, candle ice is basically rotten ice that sits below the surface of like sheet ice at the end of the season. And it basically forms kind of candlesticks, really long, almost a foot long, national park. Not only because it has that kind of Norwegian fjord style look, but also because it's so long and vast. And it goes over, I think, 13.5 miles long. So bigger than any of the biggest lakes in England or anything where I'm from. Now the reason, go on, Fred.
Which is about half a marathon.
Yeah.
Half a marathon time, which is insane. You're really good at running, but you can run a corner. There it is.
Well, Two Jack is really deep. That's no, don't worry, mate. Two Jack is really deep, and that's why we don't get that kind of turquoisey colour like we might get on Two Jack. And yeah, Minnewanka is absolutely beautiful. Now the reason it is so deep is because of the dam, and it actually came up and raised all the sea levels so that we know what kind of shoreline it is. The funny thing about that though is that they sacrificed a town. This town was called Minnewanka Landing, and it currently sits at the bottom of Minnewanka Lake. So in 1942, when they announced the building of this dam, these townspeople revolted against the government. And in fact, they revolted so hard they burnt down every single building even along the landing, as it was all built of wood. But you can still see it today if you go down there. You can go to Scuba Dive if you ever so wish, even though, again, absolutely freezing. But I will be definitely trying it in the summer if anyone wants to join me. You can go down there and take pictures of people's foundations if you really want to. There's also another legend about the lake that really interests me. Now the legend involves a man, and this man had a car, and this man was driving his car along the old dam before it was built in 1912. And he was driving on in his car, and he had a look at that gorgeous panoramic view that you can see to all right now, and he thought to himself, I'm going to drive to the lake, as it was frozen at the time. So that is exactly what he did. He drove on the lake into the middle, and so he could take a picture with his camera to show all his mates back home. Now when he was setting up his camera, and he was ready to press that click on the top of it, he realised, he thought, oh my god, what was that crack? And he looked behind him, and doof, there goes his car, straight to the bottom of the lake. There was a long, wet trudge back to Banff where his missus was greeting him, arms crossed, and he was definitely in the doghouse for a few weeks. Now this legend actually came true, as we found this, not me, actually we didn't find it, some scuba divers actually found this car at the bottom of the lake this year. It's a Mark 1 Ford, and if you want you can go in and take a picture of inside it. And in fact, Fred told me yesterday that there's actually still the parks passing it. Yeah, so this is a prime example of what bordering provides. It provides wait before, because Fred's got some cocoa for you. We thought we'd treat you today for a bit. There's another tray coming. Now that has been Fred's personal recipe, so I promise you that's all right.
But the Queen didn't want to go in one of their vehicles because she was like, no, I want the real deal, I want the real experience. So she actually pointed out a Talio that was in one of their paddocks and went, I want to go in that. It's high, which makes it one of the biggest buildings in the Banff National Park. It is the biggest building in the Banff National Park, and it is home to 750 rooms as well. So the town of Banff actually came to Bill Peto because they really wanted to have a mountain lynx in their zoo. And coming up on this corner, he gets in there and it's full of people, and he's there going, oh my god, I did not want to deal with you guys. So this is the pub just here. It used to be called Alberta Bar, but now it's called Brazen. It's a lovely restaurant, by the way. So he walks in there and he sees that there's all of these people, and he's going, oh my god, I just want to have a drink by myself. So what he did was he woke the lynx up, untied his legs, and let the lynx go in the pub. And believe it or not, 30 seconds, boom, pub's empty. Bartender's gone. Bill's there, pretty chuffed with himself, behind the bar, poured himself a lovely pint of beer, and sat down there, got the lynx, and then had a lovely beer to himself with the lynx. And if you 5 years to go in the cemetery in Banff, and that all kind of encapsulates a little thing called the right to reside. Some other big star who comes and buys a house and never even stays in it. He wanted to come back to his hometown of Banff. And when he came back to his hometown of Banff, he was a trombone player, as I said, very, very famous. He thought to himself, I love this town. I love the community and the amazing people that are here. So I'm going to play my trombone every day, every single morning in the Banff Park, near where the museum was that Fred pointed out before. And so he did that 45 years straight, every single day without a rest. Now that is a pretty impressive feat.
So I'm going to get you to put your hands over your heart. Now, as you repeat after me, I promise to move through the world with care.
I promise to move through the world with care.
To protect wild places everywhere.
To protect wild places everywhere.
In the mountains or back at home.
In the mountains or back at home.
I'll protect wild animals and places I roam.
I'll protect animals and places I roam.
I'm a proud Rockies Ranger.
Thank you.
Lanyard?
Say thank you.
Oh yes, so we can pop it on here so we don't lose it.